Hey gamers, well, more games are on the way, I'm happy to say. But until then, I want to do a list of basically mini expansions that I really love. These like small little modules that you can add onto games that really change the whole thing. And I thought, let me do a top 5. Well, I was writing some and I came up with an impromptu top 10. So I'm going to talk about that. Going backwards, number 10, for me, a mini module that you should add to a game is Katon Frenemies. In my gaming group, we do not like trading with each other. You can trade openly, you know, wheat for wood, for hay for sheep or whatever, but not many people want to help anyone out. In fact, for the first couple of years as we played this, no one was making any trades. And then I introduced frenemies. Frenemies are these little tokens you get if you achieve a trade with someone. They get something in return. They can keep these tokens and cash them in for multiple rewards. When I implemented frenemies into Katon, now it's almost like there's a bid to see who can give you the best deal for your one trade because they really want one more token to be able to do this big move. And then you're like, oh wow, I really want that card, but oh man, they will get another frenemy token if I get what I want. And it just changes the whole aspect. This small module changes the whole aspects of the game, which is why it's in my top 10. Number 9 is 10 Penny Parks Fastpass. This can be found on the Board Game Geek store at the time of this video, and it's amazing. It's one of these mini modules that you add to your game that every round, randomly, one of the locations will give you a bonus reward, but only if you use it for that round, which again changes the scope of the game because now you're kind of like, well, I didn't want to clear some trees this round, but ooh, dadgummit, that's where that special reward is. I may as well do it this time. And I love that. Anything that small that can radically change the game that way, it's on my list. All right, number 8, 7, and 6 are all Queenie games. Of course, Queenies for Queen Games. So here we go. I always have said that Queenies make a Queen game better, and sometimes without the Queenies, I would not even have the game in my collection anymore. This rings true for these 3 specifically. Bastille. Bastille is a fine game, kind of worker placement, kind of area control as you're placing these shields at different powers and locations to get the first dibs at whatever move it is, which is the best one, and then second's not as good. But when I got the Queenie for this, it totally changes the game to where there's different ways to score, additional ways to score, interesting new twist in the game that kind of change your perspective on how you're going to, your strategy of how you're going to score the next thing. Plus, it has that Power 5 shield. The shields go up to a level 4, but if you invest in, you got to invest in getting to level 5, but once you have it, it is so powerful. But then other people must go and get their 5s too. And again, it just elevates this game that keeps it in my collection where, to be honest, I don't even know if I'd own it anymore if it wasn't for the Queenies. Another one just like that is Neptune. Neptune as a game on its own is great. It's fine. But after a while, it would probably get old and it probably would have been gone from my collection by now. Thankfully, I got the Queenies on this one, and the Queenies are excellent. It gives you incentive about what type of good you want to start delivering, because in the original game, it doesn't matter really which good you get. You just go up the tracks, get the goods. You go to the locations that are close to each other. That way you can always get that little 2-point bonus at the end of your round, probably finishing first, getting the most points overall. But when you introduce all these Queenies into the game, suddenly it does matter what type of good you're carrying. Because if you can get a set of all, I can't remember if it's 5 or 6, you'll get some big bonus points. It does matter where you're going because the more different locations you are, they give you these pieces to this mural that I've never been able to finish it, but I really want to. Because you would have to go to every single different place on every single round, which is virtually impossible. But doing it, you can also get some big bonus points at the end. So the game rewards you for diversifying both your locations and your goods. And it totally flips the game on its head, and it goes from being an okay game to an excellent game, which is why I still have it in my collection today. Finally, another Queenie set of Queenies that just elevate this game is Templar The Hidden Treasures. You can find this game for super cheap. You should buy it, but only if it comes with the Queenies. The Queenies are fantastic. Without the Queenies, I felt like we were playing the game wrong. We couldn't score more than 30 points. It was very rare that someone even got close to 40. But then when you introduce all the Queenies, suddenly scoring is going to happen a lot more, and it's going to be a lot greater scores. In the 70s, 80s, or maybe even one time someone went around the whole ring, which has never been done before, since I should say, but it's because of the Queenies. The Queenies come with things like coins. Coins give you incentive. Now, you should have incentive to go to each room because that's in-game points. But as you're going to these different rooms, collecting coins, whoever has the most coins, X amount of coins can get X amount of points into the game. It definitely improves certain cards, for instance, that don't score you points, like Severus and Porticus and things that really don't impact you that much. You don't like playing them. They're kind of wasted cards. But now at least you can land them in the spot where there's a coin, pick up the coin, and hopefully score some in-game bonus points. Same with scrolls. You can deliver these scrolls to an area and get, I think it's only 3 victory points. But if you can make a strategy out of collecting as many scrolls as you can, that can turn 10 scrolls is 30 victory points. That's huge when you look at it. I've seen people try to use that incorporate that as their strategy to win, and it has worked at times. And that's really good. It's kind of risky though, because you're giving up on all the other treasures. You won't be able to make a big score here when everyone else is scoring rooms. You won't be getting any points. But maybe if you can get enough scrolls, you can pull it off. But I like how there's extra ways to score points in the game. Other ones are like the tapestry, which can double a score. It's a one-time only, so you got to be careful where you put it. And then the other one is the keys. The keys is a one-time use to unlock that locked door, because this is the typical strategy. You put a lot of treasure in one room, and then you want to score it with your abbot. But someone of the other players are going to play Porticus, and they're going to block the abbot, so that you can't go through that locked door. Aha, but now you have a one-time use key. And if you use it wisely, which one of my friends did, he went around the scoreboard by hitting the tapestry with all the big treasure. It really paid off. And it made me realize the Queenies are where it's at. So you have to have the Queenies for this one as well in order to enjoy the game. So here we go into my top 5. And I'm going to start off with Monastery The Markets. The Markets is another section on the board that entices you to kind of move down the rows. Now, there is a strategy of moving down the rows. You can unlock more dice. You can get a few rewards along the way. But it almost feels like you're better off staying where you are or moving slowly down the road and slowly filling up each little church area or monastery along the way. It feels like that's the better strategy. You can get more points that way at the end. However, when you introduce the market stalls, it gives that other random factor. What goodie am I going to get when I go to the stalls? Because in this game, every little bit of help counts. And so to add that one more spot on the market, I've noticed has enticed people to travel more than just sit there, plant, and fill up those first couple of churches, which is usually what we see in every game. But once I got the market, people were curious. And they're decent rewards. And they're like, oh, well, what happens if I go by there again? And suddenly travel is much more common. And then they sit there and plant further down the road, getting into churches and temples that they never would have originally. So I really love the market. Again, this is another one on BGG. The next one is from Stone Age. It's called the Herd expansion. It is very similar to Tenpenny Park's Fastpass, but this is the first time I'd ever seen this mini expansion do something like this. The mammoth herd moves around the board, and wherever it's stationed, that's where you're going to get special rewards if you put enough people there. So again, it's highlighting certain sections on the board that you may not need to go there right now, but you're going to go ahead and throw a few people because, hey, that's a pretty decent reward the herd's giving right now. I want to be there. And it also gives something for second place too, so there's an incentive like, well, I can't have as many as he did. He's going to win first place, but second place ain't that bad, and I kind of need some wood right now, so I'm going to go ahead and go there. I love it. I will never play without any of these mini expansions here, but definitely the Herd is one of my favorites. But there's 3 that are better, and these 3 are awesome. Number 3 is Explorers of the North Sea, The Crew. It is on the company's website. Get the Crew expansion pack. It totally changes the game. This game gives you certain objectives, 3 different objectives, that if you complete early is good, because every time someone completes it, they grab the top card, which gives them a bonus action in the game. So instead of 5 actions, you can go to 6, 7, or yay, even 8. Now, if you get 8 actions, that means everyone was asleep at the wheel and not paying attention. And you shouldn't let anyone get that powerful. But the thing is, though, every time you complete it, the bar raises. Like the goal is raised. So it makes it harder, and you can only get 1 of each card total in the game, but it makes it harder for another player to achieve that goal. And so as you're all going off to different actions, you definitely want to get one of these cards, maybe even two, because that extra bonus action really goes a long way into scoring additional points in the game. Oh boy, do I love this expansion. I will never play without it. This game, Explorers of the North Sea, was outside my top 100. Now, with the Crew Mini expansion, it is a top 100, yay, probably even a top 50 game for me now. I love the Crew. I will never play without this expansion. Next up is Firefly. Everyone knows I'm a big Firefly fan. I love this pick up and deliver game. And one of the many promos that I love with this, that now it's coming out with the new Kickstarter edition, is the Loot Crate cards. The Loot Crate cards, unfortunately, were there and gone like in a Loot Crate once, and they've been never seen of since. I found them at a great deal. I put them in my game. The Loot Crate allows you to buy that crate, and then, without traveling to the planet, you can look through the discard pile of some planet's, items and buy one. And you think, well, that for just $200? Yeah, that's a big deal, because now you don't have to fly to another planet. You can get exactly the tools you need where you're at without having to waste a trip out there. And as the game goes on and that discard pile starts getting thicker and thicker, those Loot Crate cards just get more valuable as you use them. I did pitch into the new Kickstarter or Games Found edition for their 10th anniversary, and I was delighted to find out that even though I'm getting the extra pack, not the full service deal, that those Loot Crate cards will be in there. And you better believe I'm shuffling more Loot Crate cards into my game. I love, everyone loves the Loot Crates. They're so awesome. I will never play without them. Firefly is a great game, and it's even better with the Loot Crate cards. I'm so happy that now this new fundraiser is going to have them in there. So now everyone who donated to the crowdfunding campaign is going to experience the joy of those Loot Crate cards. And finally, my number one, shouldn't be any surprise to anyone who knows me, I love Time Stories. And Time Stories, the beacon tokens and the special reward tokens. If someone is playing this game for the first time, you haven't played it yet, you've been thinking about it, might I suggest you shell out the extra $3 to $5, however much it costs, and get these 3 little tokens, punch tokens. That's it, that you can only use once in the entire series of the game. Why? Because those extra bonuses, I can't remember which is which, but one of them lets you travel to a place without using time. And how many, if you're playing Time Stories, sometimes you are this close to solving everything, but you don't have enough time to travel. Well, those little beacons will really help you out. I think the special rewards are the one that lets you flip over every card, unless it's locked, flips over every card in a set before you go exploring. And that can save you a lot of time too. But big pro tip here, folks, save it for the last expansion, Madame. You're going to need those, and you're going to be so thankful if you did not burn. We burned 1 beacon token prior to playing Madame, and we burned all of the tokens in Madame and don't regret it at all. In fact, those really saved our bacon a lot of times, and I would even say helped us. We resolved the game without getting a total fail, which I don't think not many people have done that before. But, and we didn't cheat. We just used the rules of those 2 promos. So for me, I'm eternally grateful for those promos. I have great memories using them and love them, and I would suggest anyone trying to play Time Stories should get them as well. All right, folks, that is it for my top 10 mini expansion modules that I'll always play with all my games. Let me know in the comments below what yours are, and I'll talk to you next time.